absorbed in it, has wisdom, who has subdued his senses, gains wisdom, and having gained wisdom, he attains quickly the supreme peace. Shri Krishna gives further qualifications of a person who gains knowledge and wisdom in this verse. What's the first quality of someone that attains wisdom? In the first 5 words, exactly. One must have faith. A person who has faith gains wisdom. There are 3 types of faith that one should have. The first is faith in oneself, in one's own soul, that he can become wise, free from sin, and liberated. The second is faith in one's guru. If there is a person or scripture that is showing you the way to wisdom, then what it is saying is right, and you must have faith in him, she, or it. The third is faith in God. You must have faith in God. You should know that God has created you pure and has given you a birth so that you can go back to him. You should have faith that God is calling you back. Only when one has these 3 types of faith can he attain to wisdom. So first, faith in oneself, faith in one's guru, and faith in God. Second quality? What? Yes, one must be absorbed in wisdom. Wisdom is always here and now. Wisdom can never be in the future. A person that says, I will see if I will be able to do it later, or I'll see when I have enough time, can never attain wisdom. It is impossible. It is always here and it is always now. If someone finds out that a person is standing on the street giving 100 rupees, pounds to whoever passes him, then how fast would the person run? He is so absorbed in this. If you are as absorbed in searching for the Supreme Being because you want to find out who you really are and who the Supreme Being is, then this leads you to wisdom. Wisdom is not a matter of convenience. You have to find time to gain wisdom. You have to plan for it. Being absorbed in something shows your priority towards it. It shows how much importance you give to it. If a person leaves everything else and runs after this, then he can attain that wisdom. Our scriptures and Puranas give so many examples of this. When they heard the sound of Shri Krishna's flute, the gopis stopped what they were doing and ran after Shri Krishna. The gopis never thought that they would finish what they were doing or first eat and then go, because Shri Krishna would not run away everywhere. He would just stay there. Only because they were wholly absorbed in Shri Krishna, they were able to experience the divine ras. Ras can be attained from the path of wisdom. It is not just having sticks in your hands and jumping about. It can only be attained when one has a high state of wisdom. What's the third quality in verse 39? Subdued his senses. This is not by suppression, but by understanding and love. You can win over a person in 2 ways. What are the 2 ways in which you can win over a person? Either by physical force or through love. You can exert physical force over him or through love. When you suppress your senses, then your senses just wait for the right time to come out. How long will you be able to suppress them for? They will only be held for as long as you suppress them. You cannot become free from something by suppressing it. You can only become free from something by leaving it. Only when you win over your senses with love, then can you become free from them. Our favorite character, Kachalal, told his son that he's very hot-tempered, and whenever he goes out to play with his friends, he starts arguments and fights with them. He tells them that he's hitting the neighbor's child a lot, and he does not like arguing with the neighbors. He tells his son to exercise control over his anger. The son asks him what he should do to control his anger. Kachalal says that whenever he gets angry and feels like hitting someone, he should count from 1 to 100 in his mind. The child asks what would happen if he did this, and whether his anger would really go away if he counted from 1 to 100. Kachalal replies that anger will not go away, but the children he wants to hit will go away in that time, and therefore he won't be able to hit them. Kachalal's son was even cleverer than Kachalal. This worked for 2 or 3 days, and after that the son could not tolerate it any longer. The neighbor came to see Kachalal and told him that his son has become so cultured overnight, and asked him what he told his son. What message did he give to his son? Kachalal replied that he told his son that whenever he feels like hitting someone, then he should count from 1 to 100 in his mind. Kachalal's son was not hitting the neighbor's child, and so the neighbor's child was happy and relations between Kachalal and the neighbor improved. This did not last very long, because on the 4th day, the neighbor came running on hearing his son crying. He told Kachalal to see what his son was doing. Kachalal asked what his son was doing. He went to see, and he found out that his son has held the throat of his neighbor's child and was counting from 1 to 100. As soon as he got to 100, then he started hitting the neighbor's child. A person does not gain control of his senses by suppressing them. He has to win over them with love. The person that Shri Krishna is describing in this verse is someone who has won over his senses with love. There are many people that Guruji and I see who, when they get angry, they start chanting Ram, 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 even when their eyes are going red. Of course, it's right that you chant the name of Ram, but saying it when you get angry, while you get angry, is like Kachalal's son trying to suppress his anger. Instead of suppressing your senses, you should try to win over them. Suppression will never work. A person who has faith, who is absorbed in wisdom, and has subdued his senses with love, gains wisdom. When one gains wisdom, it immediately attains what? To the supreme peace. After one has attained to wisdom, then there is no confusion left at all. Verse 40.